At a cemetery in Jerusalem, a mother gives voice to a nation's anguish.
Okay, sweet boy, go now on your journey. I hope it's as good as the trips you dreamed about, because finally, my sweet boy, finally, you're free.
Hersh Goldberg-Polin was abducted at the Nova Music Festival whilst celebrating his 23rd birthday and survived nearly 11 months in captivity, until he was murdered just days ago in a tunnel beneath Gaza.
As a human being, as a father, and as the president of the State of Israel, I want to say how sorry I am. How sorry I am that we didn't protect Hersh on that dark day. How sorry I am that we failed to bring him home.
There had been such hope that Hersh and other young hostages would live. Last month, his mother spoke at the US Democratic National Convention.
Hersh, we love you. Stay strong. Survive.
Hersh was executed with 5 other hostages, apparently as Israeli troops approached. The killings have sparked massive protests and a national strike aimed at a government seen as unwilling to do a deal with Hamas.
They were there, they were alive for 330 days. They were alive. We could have gotten them back.
It's insane that there are 100 hostages there and they're not here for, it's almost 1 year that they're there, and it's the most important thing for us as civilians to bring our people back.
And it was just so shocking. I mean, here were 6 young people who managed to survive for 11 months in the tunnels, and they're gone.
For months, there had been speculation that Hersh and some of the other young hostages were about to be freed.
3 of the 6 who were killed, who were expected to be in the first stage of the deal that's been negotiated for 3 months now. So they could have been home tomorrow, is the kind of thing, and they weren't.
Much of the anger is aimed at Israel's Prime Minister for directing an endless war.
He's trying to save himself and he's pulling us all with him. Our country is collapsing morally, physically, everything is collapsing.
Efrat Machikawa was among the protesters on the streets of Tel Aviv.
This is our way to cry out to the Prime Minister of the State of Israel and say, enough. We see your sabotage. The war cabinet, and especially our Prime Minister, have a responsibility in what happened. They should have been home.
She is a relative of one of the approximately 100 hostages who remain in Gaza, 80-year-old Gadi Moses, taken from the Nir Oz kibbutz.
Gadi Moses is such a special man. He is such a joyful and a very, very knowledgeable person.
She says Benjamin Netanyahu could secure the release of Gadi and the other hostages.
He has the power to say yes to a ceasefire. He has the power to say that he is going to stop with all the sabotage of every idea that is coming up and go back to the deal that was on the table in May.
In 2011, Israeli soldier Gilad Shalit was released by Hamas after more than 5 years in captivity. Gershon Baskin helped mediate that deal. He remains in contact with Hamas.
There are about 7 or 8 Hamas members of the political bureau who I send messages to.
He says the group has told him it is prepared to free the remaining hostages quickly if Israel withdraws from Gaza, frees Palestinian prisoners and allows aid in.
The Israeli public has a right to know that there's a possibility of bringing home all the hostages in 3 weeks, not over 3 months. but over 3 weeks.
Israel's Prime Minister says he won't strike a deal unless Israeli troops control the border between Egypt and Gaza, known as the Philadelphia Corridor. Israel says without its presence, weapons could be smuggled into Gaza and hostages taken out en route to Iran.
צריך את ציר פילדלפי. ומאותה סיבה, אנחנו חייבים לשלוט בציר פילדלפי.
Neither Hamas or Egypt want Israeli troops there. Mr. Netanyahu's critics say it's just the latest excuse for unnecessarily prolonging the war.
Yeah, the Philadelphia Corridor is being seen as a pretext not to have an agreement. As simple as that. It's an extra added condition of Netanyahu.
We hear from all the Ministry of Defense and people around the negotiation table how he is doing everything he can to sabotage, and this has been enough. It's time to seal that deal and bring them back home.